Well, domestic violence.
I'm just going to sit there with my fists clenched for the rest of the evening.
I felt crazy because every time I knew that what I'm saying makes sense.
They chip away at the entire person that you are until you don't have a sense of self anymore.
And I hear there is something sawing at my door.
The men always hide in the toilet. Just the moral of the story here is if the men are looking for the men because they can shape shift, they're hiding in the toilet.
And I think it was like 6 months until he actually left me alone after that breakup.
And I want all women who've ever been abused by these insane men, it's not your fault. All right. So what are we yapping about today?
Ooh, I like this switch of scenes.
I was like, let's do this.
It's the first time you did it. Ooh, I feel special. Well, we're going to talk a bit about appreciation on your side because I know some things that are going on in your life that are driving you crazy. And on my side, I want to talk about, domestic violence. And it's interesting because how does that what does that have to do with Ukraine per se? But I think there is a deeper subject here. But on the surface, there is basically this scandal, huge scandal in the Ukrainian internet society, I suppose, right now and in general, where there is this famous theater actor, Konstantin Temlyak, I believe is his name. And I haven't heard anything about him until this scandal, but he's supposedly he's internet famous to a degree. He has lots of followers. He's also part of Raitarska elite, which is if anyone here is from New York, the only way that I can describe it is 10 years ago, Williamsburg was up and coming and becoming hipster and cool. So this is what's happening to the Golden Gate area right now. And Raitarska is the main street. So that would be Bedford.
Oh.
Sure. Okay, Raitarska Street, you will get this schooling that I just got behind the scenes. But so there is this, I guess, blogger elite, whatever, that hangs out there, and he's part of that. And of course, because he's an actor of theater, and theater is so up and coming, right? There are lots of eyes on him. So his ex-girlfriend came out with what I'm not going to call it allegations again, because a lot of media has called it allegations, but they're confirmed both by her and him and screenshots and a lot of information that he was abusing her physically and emotionally. And I mean to a degree where it's he would be drunk and on drugs, and he would he would gaslight her. He would actually beat her, but but in a sense where she wouldn't necessarily have bruises, because he would drag her by her hair. If she posted a photo on Instagram and there was an inch of her leg visible, he was saying that she was trying to attract attention, and she was cheating on him, the usual,
Into the wood chipper for this man. I will toss him head first. That's just not okay.
Yeah, so he was doing all of this stuff, right? And it's been 4 years since they were dating. It is confirmed that the girlfriend before him and the girlfriend after also got the same treatment. He's now married to a woman who's younger than him. I think he's in his 30s and she's in her 20s. And they have this picture perfect marriage online. We don't know if anything is, that there is no allegations from her or anything like that.
Okay, blink twice if you need help.
Yeah.
Miss ma'am.
Pretty much.
Wow.
And when his ex-girlfriend spoke out, there was a 15-year-old, well, now 17-year-old girl, 15-year-old girl at that time, who messaged her showing screenshots of this 30-year-old man sending her pictures of his wiener.
Fantastic.
And asking her if she was a virgin. And all of these conversations were and he knew she was 15. Let's put it out there. He knew she was 15. And I think that was the allure. So that's pedophilia.
So abusive, narcissist, pedophile.
Yes.
He is wood chipper material.
Yeah.
Head first.
100%. And so while most of the society is very supportive of her, there are lots of, and I want to say this, women, which is driving me nuts, lots of women that have been commenting things like, oh, I think there should be an expiration date on when you're going to talk about this because it's been 4 years and it sounds like cloud chasing.
Oh,
There is I think the director of the theater came out and said that if someone has respect for themselves, they're never going to end up in this situation. There are a ton of friends, like Ukrainian celebrity friends, that have been coming out saying, well, I don't support domestic violence and I don't support him the way that he was, but I know him now and he's a great person. So we support him the way that he is now. He's a sensual and expressive and emotional person and he's great. So there is a lot of discourse like that. Personally, every time I open Threads, and Threads somehow is like the cesspool of the worst things in the Ukrainian society that just brews up this like magic storm. Every time I open it, I just close it. But this time I couldn't because I myself was in a very emotionally abusive relationship when I was in college. And when people say things like, well, how can you get yourself in a relationship so dependable on a man that you can't leave? You should never get into one if you can't afford an apartment or can't afford to leave. Well, there's so many things wrong with this, right?
it's easy to say that when you're not in the situation.
Well, first of all, second of all, it doesn't matter if you have I had an apartment. I didn't depend on the person I was with at all.
Yeah.
You don't start dating a monster. You don't start dating a person that starts abusing you from day one. In fact, yeah, you can have self-respect. You can be like the most successful, amazing, objectively and subjectively person on the planet. And you can still get into this type of relationship because what abusers do is they find a weak spot and they play on it and they chip away at your self-confidence. They chip away at your self-esteem. They chip away at your sense of self-worth.
And they mask their actions for as long as they can, so you don't know what's happening. It's that initial stage of like, the euphoria of the beginning of the relationship, and you don't notice that what they're doing is controlling. You don't notice that they're abusive because it starts with like really small little things, and then it becomes much bigger and much more dangerous over
Well,
time.
I think it also like starts with love bombing, right?
Oh, definitely. Big sign.
And
every
it's
time.
like a huge back and forth, and you don't kind of you don't hold on to like the bad stuff. You hold on to like all of the best stuff. And we all know that like in any average relationship where like the person is not abusive but it's just not for you, right? Like those first 3 months is actually what imprints in your head as this is what the person is because this is when everything was good.
Yep.
But in reality, this is when they are like putting their best foot forward.
Yeah, and the mask is on.
Yeah, so even if we're like in bad relationships that don't work for us, but like the person is not abusive, they're fine, everything is okay, right? But like 4 or 5 months in, we're like, what happened? It's not the same. It's not like as magical anymore, right?
Yeah.
We can't leave that relationship because we hold on to like, oh, but things were good.
The honeymoon phase.
Yeah. So it's like, and this is without manipulation. This is just like a regular relationship. So how are you expected to leave something when there is actually someone carefully working and designing the process for you to be dependent on them emotionally and for you to not be able to leave?
Yeah, definitely. And like they chip away at the entire person that you are until you don't have a sense of self anymore. And like it's in the most abusive way. And I want to stress that this is completely different from like an alpha relationship where it's like a male that is more confident and protective of his woman versus a narcissist who is a weak man and wants to control. It's completely different.
I don't know, like for me, I guess this topic, like I never comment on anything online that's like, we call it srach in Ukraine.
Yeah, tabloid stuff.
Yeah, which is just like garbage stuff that people argue about, right? But this wasn't it, and like this triggered me so much because I very much feel for this situation. So there was this one comment that actually triggered a massive post from me. And it was like, well, I was like in an emotionally manipulative relationship when I was like a child or something. And if it happened to me now, like I would have walked away immediately.
No.
But
I hate
also,
when people say that.
but also, if it happened to you now, you would have walked away immediately because you know the signs because you have been through it.
Yeah.
And not everyone can. But for me, so I actually tried to record a video about this for like when all of this was like in the epicenter of like brewing. and I couldn't, because I feel like when I'm talking to a camera, I question myself, and I kind of like, I can't. So I'm going to try to describe my former relationship to you, because friend and safe. And it's easier to tell this to someone than, because trust me, I sat down and tried to record it like 20 times. And each time I just deleted the video and I didn't end up posting it. I just wrote like a blurb. I was 18 and I moved to New York. I think at that point, like 3 years before that, it was my first year of college. I met this guy on OkCupid, because at that point Tinder was just like brewing, and it wasn't even a
It
thing.
wasn't really a thing, yeah.
He was Russian, actually. This was my only relationship with an Eastern European man. Go figure. And and this is relevant to the story. He was 6'4" and a very like big dude. Like he's just like built very big. At the beginning of this relationship, it was a honeymoon stage, right? Like he was like love bombing me. He was giving me a lot of attention. I was also like, I had just moved. I had like a lot of stuff going on. It was my first year of college. There were some things that I was like really going through, right? I was like, I had a whole set of new friends. All of my like friends were in Ukraine at that point, right? So it was quite a tumultuous time in a sense. I lived in my own apartment that my parents rented for me, but my own apartment. He lived with his parents. He came to my apartment as he pleased, literally, no matter whether it was like good for me or bad for me, good timing, bad timing. So we were together for a year and 8 months. And out of the year and 8 months, I think for a year, I was trying to leave and I couldn't. And I think we've gotten to a stage at which it was easier for me to just stay and agree than to deal with whatever shitstorm was coming if I was trying to break up with him, because he would gaslight me into like making it my fault. And it would just be like, it would be so difficult every time that I just didn't want to have that conversation, because I knew that it wasn't gonna like go anywhere.
Yeah.
I was not allowed to have friends that are men, especially if they were attractive, because I wasn't. My gay friends were a problem because they were men, and there is no such thing as gay. They're lying to themselves. I found out later that he had my iMessage connected to his computer.
Oh my God.
And so he read all of my messages. At some point, a guy from class messaged me to ask for homework. And he was asking me, why are there men messaging me like at random hours? We were on a project together. And then in front of me, he would talk to his random girlfriends. And it wasn't about like school or anything. It was just like to get back at you type of thing. He would get mad at me if I got home later than normal, even when we didn't have plans, because he would sit in front of my door and wait for me. There was so much control in that. And every time he did something nice, then the next time he would like use it against me. So like if he cooked, which he did once, or cleaned, which he did twice in an apartment in which he's like made it his home and like broke all of my boundaries and acted as if it's his place, not mine, he would use it as like a tool against me. Like, oh, I do all of this for you. So, there was a lot of that. And then at some point it came to a boiling point. I basically, every time I would like go out with friends or do anything, I would spend most of my time on my phone trying to tell him that I'm not cheating on him and I'm not doing anything wrong. So for like about a year, I didn't really spend any time with my friends, because all the time would be taken up by arguing with him. And I was constantly miserable. I was constantly sad, and everyone kept trying to point it out, and like everyone kept trying to tell me, and I like knew it. But again, every time that I would try to do something about it, it would end in like an explosive argument. It would end in him it would end basically like with, I don't know, like this whole ordeal till 3 a.m. It's tiring. It's like, I felt crazy because every time I knew that what I'm saying makes sense and what he's saying makes no sense. But the way that he built his arguments, it's like you have nothing to say to them, not because you're wrong, but because it's so absurd. There is nothing to say. So you literally feel like you're insane.
Yeah.
And it came to a conclusion. At some point, my gay friend from San Francisco was visiting. He was my friend since like our boarding school. And he had just recently came out to me. And he was visiting for 2 weeks, and he asked if he could live with me, which was a studio, and we would have to sleep in one bed. But again, he's gay, and I know
Yeah.
him for like the longest time. So the boyfriend at the time got really mad, and he stopped answering my calls and texts as like punishment for 2 weeks. Unknowing to him, basically doing me the hugest favor in my life, because I did not have him in my ear every time that I would come to a realization about our relationship. I actually had my supportive friend who was like, you need to get the fuck out of this.
Yeah.
Well, since he hasn't responded to me in 2 weeks by then anyway, I decided our relationship is over. Sam, the friend at that point, was leaving on like, let's say on Thursday night, and the ex knew about that, or the boyfriend at the time. So I went home, and my door, which is what actually saved me, my door had a latch. Like, it had a lock and a latch, and at that point he had a key. So at 2 a.m, I wake up because my door had a laser key, so like when you put it in, it goes like beep, and then like you can turn it. So I wake up at like 2 or 3 a.m, and I'm 18, by the way, and I hear like beep, open, close, beep, open, close, because the latch wouldn't let him open it, right? So I'm like, I understand that it's him. I look at my phone, and there is 40 plus missed calls and 100 plus messages. And I'm like, you haven't spoken to me in 2 weeks. Like, you haven't said a single word to me in 2 weeks. And you show up at my apartment at 3 a.m? Like, what's wrong with you? So I like pretend to be dead. I pretend to be asleep. I pretend to not hear it, because I'm like, he's surely gonna leave, right?
No.
So at some point it stops, right? And I'm like, okay, cool, he left. So I fall back asleep. I'm like, I'll deal with it tomorrow. I wake up in another, I guess, like 20 minutes, and I hear there is something sawing at my door. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I get up, I run up to the door, and I see there is a maintenance guy literally sawing down my lock. And so I look at him, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, taking down your lock. And I'm like, why? And he's like, well, and obviously this, like, the dude is screaming in the background and like whatever. And I'm like, is he on the lease? And he's like, no. Why are you taking why are you breaking down my door? So the maintenance guy got scared. He ran away. I like slammed the door shut, locked it. And I was like, I'm not opening the door for you. Like, we're done. We've been like, you haven't spoken to me in 2 weeks, right? Anyways, this whole situation escalates. I have to call my security to come up, escort him, and take my key back. He ends up sitting in front of my building for the next 8 hours. He threatens that he's going to call the police because I'm not giving him his stuff back, which, by the way, amounted to a toothbrush, deodorant, some of his like underwear, and his biology textbook. And for him to leave me alone, I had to ask my security to escort him up to my apartment with me so he could take his stuff and leave. And he thought I had a guy over. So he was looking in the fridge, in the toilet.
In the fridge.
In the fridge, in the toilet, in the closet. And the funniest thing is that when he like opened the toilet, the security guard like understood what was happening. He was like, oh yeah, man, they always hide them there.
They always hide in the toilet. Always.
It was like, no,
They
it was-
always hide in there.
It was like the funniest thing too, because the security for my building at the time, he was like this like very big, right? Like tall, big, like
normal.
plump, like, you know, guy. And he's like in his like maybe like 30s, right? And then he's like a teddy bear. Like I really like that guy, right? And he's like looking at it and he's like, yeah, man, that's
exactly where they're
where
hiding.
I've always found them.
The men always hide in the toilet. Just the moral of the story here is, if you're looking for if the men are looking for the men because they can shape shift, they're hiding in the toilet.
Yeah, like actually, yeah. No, I mean, like it was the only light to this like otherwise ridiculous situation.
Yeah.
He ended up sitting in front of my door, and I like made it as compact as possible, even though it wasn't compact. I'm sure it was like 20 minutes of me talking about this. But anyways, he ended up sitting in front of my building for 48 hours with like bathroom breaks in a nearby cafe and food breaks in a nearby cafe. I had to call the police on him, and then I found out later, because I wasn't that technologically advanced at that point, that I had Find My Friends on my phone in some like remote folder, and that he knew exactly where I would be. So he consistently kept running into me everywhere, and he also kept leaving me apology care packages that included toilet paper, paper towels, and like I don't know, it was like so random. I was like, yeah, sure, thank you for the ZY is really gonna make me forgive you. Anyways, I don't even. I don't even.
We should all carry weapons. Just women in general.
No,
We're
but
so
like
vulnerable.
seriously,
It's unfair.
dude. It was like he called me at 3 a.m. Like I think every other night, saying that he's at Brooklyn Bridge and he's gonna jump.
Oh, I
Like,
just love guys like this. Like
yeah.
and at this point in my life, I'm like, okay.
No, seriously. I mean, like at first I was like worried, right? But then I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, dude, honestly, like if you were gonna go do that, like I'm not gonna be like this is
He's
not
a
gonna be my
malignant
fault.
narcissist. He wasn't going to do it anyway. He loves himself too much. They all are like that. They're just, it's their,
Course.
you know.
But like, when you're 18 and someone calls you, like you
Yeah.
also like, here's also the thing, like he was playing on this one insecurity that I had, which is I was an immigrant, right? And so I was deathly afraid of any troubles with the law because I remember vividly that in my boarding school, they told me that even if you steal a chewing gum and someone catches you, you will be deported. So over like
Yeah.
$1, right? So for me, it's like, everything that, like I was worried that if he harms himself and it's going to be because of me, the responsibility is going to be on me. I'm going to end up like whatever. So there was a lot of that mixed in there.
Yeah,
And he
of
knew
course.
that. And he was like operating on it. And I think it was like 6 months until he actually left me alone after that breakup.
Yeah.
So when I read things with people saying like, oh, if you loved yourself more, if you depended on him less, or this and that, it's like, I had good self-confidence until him.
Yeah.
Because he would constantly tell me things like, I could date any model, but I choose to date you. Yeah.
I'm already having a kind of a shitty day. Like this is just, I'm just going to sit there with my fists clenched for the rest of the evening, basically needing to beat the fuck out of somebody. Like that makes me very upset.
Yeah.
That makes me irrationally angry.
So yeah. No, I mean, like to be honest, like the other day I was sitting there and I was trying to like replay it in my head, and like years later, somehow he got my phone number and he like called me because he was having issues with his girlfriend, like his new girlfriend, who was a lot older than I was at the time, and who was a lot less like naive, I guess, and has been in like abusive relationships before. So she was just like, fuck off, right? And he was like having issues with her, and he called me and he was like, was I really this bad? Was like blah blah blah? And I was like, you know what? Actually, I've been dreaming to sit down and tell you everything about how much of a piece of shit you are. So if you're interested, we're going to have this conversation. And I actually on the phone for like an hour and a half told him with no filter exactly what kind of a piece of shit he is. And I was like, I don't think therapy is going to save you. I don't think anything can, because you're not doing this because you love this person. You're doing this because you want to keep them and control them.
Yeah, you're a crazy person.
But this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it was very therapeutic to be
Seriously,
able to just
there's
like,
not a lot of women that get this opportunity to
No.
like to be able to tell their abuser like you're a fucking piece of garbage. Like, and I understand too, because like I've when I was a lot younger, also in college, I had a similar situation like with an obsessive person, and that was a terrifying experience for me. And I think what bothers me is like to go back to the stuff that you read on Threads, when it's other women that are shitting on the victim and saying, well, you're only, women already have problems with fear and reporting because they know that like the law is most of the time never on their side. And, like, my favorite thing is what did she do to deserve it, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
she didn't do anything. Like, this is just
Yeah.
a piece of shit that likes to abuse women. And so like when you tell me stuff about like other women being like, well, and I'm like, no, we don't go against our own kind. That's not okay. That's wrong.
Well, it's kind of like Latinas voting for Trump, right? I think the idea here is that I am different and this would never happen to me. But no, you're not. And it would. I hope it doesn't, because you know what to look out for because of women speaking out online. But that's the thing. It's like one of the things was like cloud chasing, right? What cloud chasing? As a woman, you know that when you go online and you tell a story like that, if it goes viral, the majority of the comments are going to be people questioning you.
Well, and you have to relive such a painful part of your life.
Yeah, but also you're going to get so much abuse, and you're going to get so many men and women trying to tell you that it's your fault.
Yeah.
One of the parts that really, really pissed me off was like, oh, but you knew what triggered him and you continued doing it. Like, everything triggers him.
You could breathe the wrong way, and an abuser is going to be like, you fucking garbage piece.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm swearing so much today. I'm so sorry.
It makes sense. Like, I mean, it's the type, like, I am too, but that's the thing. It's like, you can't, and I want to hammer it into people's heads so much. It's like, they're not reacting to triggers. They're looking for things to react to, because there was nothing that I was doing that would provoke arguments.
It never is that way.
Because you could do anything. Like, things that would trigger my ex was, again, I came home from class after school, and normally I come back at 3, but I decided to stop at Starbucks and came back at 3:40. We had no plans, but he was sitting in front of my apartment because he decided to show up, and I was to blame because he had to wait. And I didn't let him know that I wanted to stop by Starbucks on a day on which I had no plans with him. So things like that. Someone liked my Instagram picture was another one. A friend who was a man who I haven't seen in a year because of this guy messaged me happy birthday.
Oh, yeah.
You can't, there are no triggers. They don't react to things.
No, it's like I said, you could breathe the wrong way.
It's walking on eggshells all the time, because you never know what's going to set them off, and everything is going to set them off because they're trying to break you. And they want you to do nothing, and they want you to be completely subservient to them, because they know that the more they react in this like ridiculous way, the less you're going to be doing things, because you know that anything can set them off.
Exactly. It's never that and I want all women who've ever been abused by these insane men, it's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. Okay? And like, I'm sick of other women that try to downplay this crap, and like, that are like, well, it's, and I'm like, no, we're supposed to be advocates for each other. It's not, I can understand why this would trigger you. This is a difficult thing to deal with.
Well, it triggers me to see people blame someone,
The victim,
right?
yeah.
And it's kind of like it's so funny, because they're like, if you weren't this, if you were in that, if you didn't have daddy issues, if you didn't have this, like, okay, I had a mom and a dad who weren't divorced at that time. I lived in a fancy-ass building. I went to a good-ass college. I was a good-ass student. Like, nothing, like, all of the things that you take from these people's excuses as to why she particularly ended up in this situation, right? Mine was the opposite. And I still ended up in that situation. And my favorite thing at the end of it was when my friends found out former friends found out that I was in this type of relationship. They were like, wow, I could never imagine that someone like you would end up in this position, as like a compliment, right? Because I'm strong. Anyone can end up in this position. You can be like, in like, they were so confused as to how a woman with like so much like will and like strength and like, because you know me, I'm opinionated. I'm like very,
What? I'm also opinionated, so it's a compliment.
The point is, like, I'm a strong person. I don't take shit from people, but it's like anyone has weak spots, and anyone has something to manipulate. And I'm sorry, I'm just gonna, I know like you should, like, I want to hear from you so much, but I'm gonna say that like one of the biggest, I guess like one of the craziest things during that relationship that happened to me, that made me realize that I was in an abusive relationship, because to me in my head, it's not abusive if he doesn't beat you, and he didn't beat me. So, I was sitting in my Psych of Human Sexuality class, and we were doing this pyramid of emotionally and physically abusive relationships. And there were 10 points that a person does for them to be considered an abuser in like the police type of way, right? And my relationship had 8 out of 10. Isolation from friends and family. Yep. And I remember I was literally reading this, and it was like, and I had an A, like I had a straight A in that class. It was Psych of Human Sexuality. I was like so good. Like the professor freaking loved me. We were like tight, right? And I was sitting, and she like called on me to explain something, and I was like speechless. And she was like, Yulia, are you okay? Like, because it was not like me to sort of like sit there and just like not
say
like
anything.
Be present. Yeah. Because I was sitting there and I was reading these points, and I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, surely it's just a coincidence.
No, it's not.
It's not. And I was like, I'm exaggerating. I think the biggest problem with women speaking out and women leaving is that they're so conditioned to think that it's their fault,
Yeah.
that they blow up because you force them to. It's like when he would yell at me and we would have these arguments, he would tell me that it's my fault because I make him react this way.
Oh, yeah. I've heard
And
that before.
we're so conditioned to think that we are exaggerating and not believe our own instincts that that's why it takes so long. And I think the problem with abusers is not you leaving them, it's them leaving you. Because you can walk away, but they're not going to let you go.
No. No. And to be honest, I think the path that relationship was going down, I think if you gave it another 6 months, he would have started getting physically abusive.
Yeah.
And that's like, well, first, from the bottom of my heart, I know you know this, but it was not your fault. Okay. And it can happen to anyone. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how strong you are. The problem with malignant narcissists and abusers is that they are very good at being charming and making you feel like you're the queen of the world, and like that's how they get you. And they do it, they come on really strong really fast. When I was young and in college, I did not know the signs, right? We never do.
Yeah.
And also I'm going to say this right now, I really resent the daddy issues argument. That pisses me off a lot because it is not about women who did not have a father figure in their life. Like that's not okay. And like I'm sick of that argument being something that's floated around as to why women get into bad relationships. Women get into bad relationships not because it just happens. It's not like they're trying to attract the garbage heaps that are out there. But like my biggest resentment is always going to be, well, she's definitely got daddy issues. Look at the men she dates. No, it's not that. It's self-esteem is part of it. Two, when you're very young and impressionable, it's easy to fall into a trap of a man that is confident.
And you know what's interesting? Even though like between me and this person, actually, I don't know why it's been like 12 years. His name is Lyosha. Like, it's not like you can find who it is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I actually recently tried to look him up online because I was like, oh, I wonder if you're in jail, maybe, hopefully. I don't know. But no, like, there is literally, you can find anything about him online.
Maybe he's dead.
His LinkedIn is active, but there is
That's
like
upsetting.
absolutely no, like, like absolutely no. I think the only thing that I found was LinkedIn, and there is no updates or anything, and you have to like follow him to see any information about him. And obviously, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pay for LinkedIn to like,
also no.
yeah. But so, I think that usually, so he was a year or 2 years older than me, but normally these men, especially in their like 30s or 40s, they will go after younger women.
Definitely.
Because it's not because you're dumber or anything like that. It's just because you have way less life experience and experience with relationships to actually recognize these things. And you're obviously still like, you're still forming as a person. So it's a lot easier to get in your head and manipulate you. Even though
Definitely.
I do want to say that at any age, like,
Oh my
you
God.
know,
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
but these guys like younger women because it's easier to manipulate younger women.
Yeah, you can't dupe an older woman who's, kind of gotten the street smarts. Like, I remember there was one situation where, like, one guy came on incredibly strong, and I was just like, nope, I know the signs of this. I know the kind of person you are. Absolutely not. Bye-bye. And just hit the block button. Anytime that starts happening, like, that is an immediate, like, separation of like communication. Like, even if like I have, most of the time it's just like weird because like these narcissists seem to think that like coming on strong to women who like they don't really know, they think it's going to be like the access point to, well, if I'm really nice to her, like, maybe she'll be dumb enough to fall for it. And I'm like, when you're too nice to me, I'm like, bye.
Oh my God. It sets off my alarm bells so fast now when like a guy is like a couple of dates in and he's like so into you.
Yeah.
It's like there is a good line, but I think there is always like there is a telltale sign when they tell you you're different. They have never felt like this before.
Oh God.
Like all of these tropes, right? Because these are things designed to make you feel special. And I'm saying like I'm not trying to say that every guy that does that knows what he's doing. Some of them just like they don't even know that they're like that this is manipulation, but they know, but they like as in like they know what to say, right? And it's like there is healthy way of being like, hey, I really like you, right? And this is like new to me or something like that. But you don't like go and start telling someone they're like the center of your freaking universe, knowing them for like 2 days. It's crazy.
Yes.
And I do want to point out that also, like, while we keep saying guys, like women do this too, but just in a way smaller proportion than men do. It genuinely, like, there are women that gaslight and that abuse and that do these crazy things, but also men. And you know what? I remember that I said it was relevant to the story that he was 6'4" and like huge when he was trying to take my door down, and when he thought that there was a man inside. Like, imagine there was, he would have killed him. But also,
And he harmed you.
but also, but also at some point I started dating someone that I actually really, really liked. And we were together for like a month at that point, and he was still like stalking me. And I was going on my 5th date with this guy. And I'm literally, and he's like, hey, I'm running 15 minutes late. Subway is like, screwed, like whatever. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, can you wait for me at Union Square? And I was like, sure. So I'm at Union Square and I literally see Lyosha across the street. And I panic because I know that he has somehow found me at that point. I didn't know he had like the Find My Friends thing. And I'm imagining this guy that I'm seeing who was 5'9" and who was like small, and this 6'4" building of a man who is like stalking me. And I literally, like, I don't even remember how I got out of that situation. I told the guy that I was meeting to meet me at a different station because I was like, oh, I started walking, like, can we just meet at a different whatever? And I don't know how I got the other one to get off my back. I think like he started like asking me, he was like, please come back to me. I'll make you the happiest person on the planet. Like, blah, blah, blah. I'll do anything. And I'm like, dude, you can't make me the happiest person on the planet because I'm not going to be happy to be with you. I don't want to be with you. No. You make me miserable. I don't love you. I don't like you. I hate you.
Yeah.
And it was a public space enough that I think he was like,
humiliated.
Yeah, that he like left. But I don't remember, honestly. Like, and to be fair, like, I got it okay. Like, I got out of it fairly unscathed in a sense of like, well,
yeah, I'll acknowledge it a little bit, but you definitely blocked out some stuff because that's a trauma response,
For sure. I mean, but at least, like the only good thing that happened to me after this relationship is that anytime I would see any signs of a man acting like that, I'd be like, bye-bye.
Yeah,
no
block.
explanation.
That's an auto block, yep.
Yeah, no explanation, no like hesitation, no anything. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Anytime someone would be asking me about my men friends, how many men I've been with, any of these like controlling questions, I would be like, no, bye.
So if you're still watching
and you'd like to watch more next time, please like, subscribe, turn on all of your notifications, send this video to a friend, and of course, tell us what you think in the comments because we read all of them. And if you have the opportunity to, subscribe to our membership because it helps us greatly to keep producing and making this podcast.
I think it's like, obviously, and in this regard, like you learn exactly the difference between a man who is a protector and a man who is controlling. And, like I've been fortunate enough to learn the difference. And it's one of those things where like, never ever assume, and I hate questioning when people are too nice to me, but I question that immediately. I'm like, I don't. And my first thought is, what do you want? And like, that's usually, I keep everything friendly and professional because that's just how I want to live my life. It's just safer that way,
Yeah, much safer. Basically, it pisses me off a lot when people like, when they can call out abuse when it's like someone random, but when it's their friend doing it, it's suddenly different.
Yeah.
I remember like very vividly, everyone with my current with my boyfriend, with my current boyfriend, with my boyfriend, like when we just started dating, like I got very, very, like we have a lot of mutual friends and everyone was like, he's a very good guy. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Right. And it's like, it's good. I'm very happy that there's so many people that can be like, oh, you're dating that guy. He's amazing. Right. That's like a good sign. But at the same time, like we had this conversation where I was talking to my friend, to Masha actually.
Yeah.
And Masha was like, well, but you have so many like positive reviews about him. So many people know him and everyone like thinks he's good. Right. I'm like,
10 out of 10 on Yelp.
Yeah. But I'm like, none of them dated him. So it's like, while it's very good to have this like sort
Yeah.
of reassurance from the very beginning that everyone thinks he's a great person, right? At the same time, like they don't know him the same way someone would if they dated him.
It's a totally different
Yeah.
experience. Like it's hi.
So it's like, I'm not going to rely on people's testimony about him completely.
Yeah.
While it's good to have that, it's also like he can be a great friend, but you
Yeah.
don't know him in a relationship. Well, it turns out he's a great guy in a relationship too.
Yeah, I
which
mean,
is good.
obviously, which is good.
But what I was
Which
trying
is
to
good.
say is that like it's a different. He's like, abusers are different people
Yes.
to their friends than they are to their significant others, because behind closed doors there is a whole different picture.
Mask on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
you
that's the
start
thing.
masking too because you don't want judgment.
Yeah, and you feel shame. Like as the victim, you feel shame that, you know, that it's like you're ashamed of what is happening and like you can't that's another thing that like makes you not say anything because you feel so much shame that, you know, there's that element of I can't believe I'm letting this happen to me, but I have to block it out. So now I have to pretend like everything is amazing and everything is wonderful and everything is like the Stepford like example of perfect. And so you mask and you mask and you mask.
And I think the worse it gets, the better you portray it to the outside world,
Yeah.
because you start overcompensating. But speaking of, you wanted to talk about appreciation, and I think that we can somehow jump through
Mold
hoops.
this in.
We can somehow jump through hoops and bring it to that topic.
You know, I think there's a lot of things that happen, you know, when, especially, so like I'm the kind of person where I will literally go until the wheels fall off in terms of like helping people, you know, getting stuff done, whatever. It's like, you know, I'm the one that people pick up the phone and say, help, can you fix this? Or can you get this? And it's like, it's great. But there's like a line to it as well, because like most people that are close to me in my life know that I will give you the shirt off my back or I will give you the food out of my lunch if you need it, because that's, you know, how it goes.
Yeah.
And I think like my best friend back home, she constantly, you know, tries to keep me in check. She's like, are you abandoning yourself again to help other people? And I had to tell her like recently, I'm like, no, because I've made a lot of progress in this to like not be taken advantage of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I think it's great to help and help and help when you need to, because I'm always going to be there if you call me. That's 100%. Like if you call me in the middle of the night and you're like, I need help, I'm there in 5 minutes or less if I can. But like, or I'm going to find a way to fix it.
At the price of your own comfort. Yeah.
But like, I think
And well-being.
recently I ran into a situation where like I was expected to do something very big for someone. And there was, and I never expect anything in return. Let me be very clear. That is not the kind of person I am, but a little bit of appreciation goes a long way. And like, that's, I've kind of like noticed that like when you help and you're always there, people expect it and they grow to expect it. And they say, well,
It becomes the norm, and they stop
Yeah.
seeing it as you going out of your way to help them. Yeah.
it's that baseline that they've come to develop. And well, you're always there anyway. And it's like, yes, but at what cost?
Yeah.
And like recently I've found myself growing very physically and emotionally tired of like constantly like, let me give you
Giving.
everything I have. And like, and that's not to say that that's ever going to change, but like, I can't go at the same pace all the time without some sort of like, hey, thanks. You know, like, and it's not, it just would be nice, you know, to like hear that once in a while. And like and that's why like I rely sometimes on my friends to be like, hey, checking in. Have you been doing more than you need to be doing? Cause like I am a solutions based person. If I know someone who's going through something, I'm going to find 5 ways to fix it.
Well, I think that also comes into neurodivergency, because
God, yeah.
neurodivergent people are normally problem solvers, and even if we're not asked to problem solve, we do, because that's our nature.
Yeah.
I think what I started doing recently is like I've started enforcing better boundaries for myself.
Yes, boundaries are super important.
But like, you know, like saying like, oh, enforce better boundaries is also such a vague concept. So I'm going to try to like verbalize this, right? So for instance, here is how I measure whether people are equally putting putting effort into a relationship, right? So there are things that I am being asked to do that I do. And they can be big, right? And then there are things that I do without being asked to do them that are just my idea of what I want to do, right? So when I feel like it's not equal 50-50, like investment into the relationship emotionally, I think of the things that I was asked to do and I did. And I think of the things that I asked to do and whether they're being fulfilled. But I take the stuff that is being done by me with my own volition, whatever, aside, because I know I can be a lot, in a sense of like, I take a lot of responsibility upon myself.
Oh, same.
That the other person, that is very nice, and the person is not going to say like, oh, don't do this, right? Because it's good. Like it's nice things, but also like they didn't ask me for it. It's my own personal, like whatever. And then the other thing with boundaries is that like I used to, I'm going to give this example. I've given it to you so many times, but I think it describes things so well, right? So my boyfriend is OCD and I am ADHD, which means in a lot of things, he's very organized and I'm very mess. And I need mess and he needs organized. His apartment is spotless. Like there is nothing out. There is nothing anywhere. Meanwhile, this is chaos of everything, right? In my bathroom, object permanence, I have a shelf with like 2 shelves actually. Everyone has commented on it, like literally every single man who's ever passed by this apartment, and Nazar I think too, commented literally on like how much product I have.
I'm the same
above my like yes, he's laughing because he did.
Would you stop being psycho?
Okay, but the thing is, like, I need it out because if it's not out, I don't know that it's there.
It's the same. I have this. We have the same type of neurodivergence. Like I'm the same exact way.
Yeah.
So I understand.
So it's like even if I use something every day, like even if I use like the same hair gel every day, if it's not out, I'm not gonna use it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's gonna like significantly impair my ability to do my hair, or whatever, or like look the way that I want to look. My boyfriend needs everything put away. Like he needs all the stuff, all the visible stuff to be clean. So in his apartment, I'm very happy to put my crap in boxes. Like he's happy to have all of my crap over. It's just as long as it's in boxes.
It needs to be not in his line of vision.
Yeah. But if we lived together, I was like, this would not be okay for me because I would do this for you. And I used to do that for the men that I dated, right? But it makes me miserable.
Yeah.
And there's only so long that you can do things that make you miserable, right? So I was like, if we ever lived together, you better know that we need separate bathrooms. And he's like, oh, but we can compromise. I'm like, your compromise is a box.
Yeah.
A box works for me here because it's your space.
Yes.
I don't want to live the rest of my life with my
Out of a
products in
box.
boxes.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree.
It's important to like tell people what you need. And I used to not do that.
Appreciating differences.
Yeah, exactly. Because I used to think that like, you know, I still had this like leftover from like the abusive relationship where like if I showed my true self, if I showed things that could be like conventionally bad, like, you know, liking my mess, then they wouldn't love me or they wouldn't like me. And at this point, I'm like, no, because this is who I am. And there are things that, don't get me wrong, like there are things that I know I'm lazy about.
Yeah, sure.
That I could do with someone giving me a kick in the butt. Like he does. But then there are things that I know I can't compromise on.
Yeah.
And I think you need to appreciate each other and each other's things.
Well, and I think like that also like goes in on reliability too, right? Like being able to rely on people is super important. Like, I mean, that's the minute you show me I can't rely on you anymore, I will never call you again. Like that is especially in this life that I'm leading. If like, because neurodivergence, I can't ask for help. If I ask someone for help, it means I have deliberated about it in my head for at least 20 minutes before I worry about being a burden, before I worry about, do they have time to help me? Or like I literally go through this, like, Jesus, like help me because I don't think I can. Yeah. Like it's that inability to ask for help. And like,
but when it's you being asked for help, you will move your shit around all day.
The mountains
to do everything that needs to be done. Are
gone. I literally will. What mountain? Poof. Like there's like, I will help you. Don't worry. It doesn't matter how hard the task is. Like I've got you. It's fine. Yeah. And like that,
I'll make my day a living hell, but I will get it done.
Totally. And I'll sit there and I'll suffer. And I'm like, this is fine. Like I'm totally good.
No
Are
trouble.
You good? Are you fine?
No
like,
trouble.
Are you? Yeah. No trouble. No, excuse you. But yeah, no, that's like the thing. It's like, and the reason why this is an important topic to me is because my best friend back home, she checks me and like, she's like a reminder that you are not obligated to put yourself out completely in order to help other people all the time. Like it is okay to not, and this is the funny part is I teach this to my tactical medical students where I say you can't save everyone. And that is true. Even in helping people, you can't always help everybody. And so like, it's a lesson for me to also remember that it is okay to want to feel appreciated. It's not a selfish thing. It's not a bad thing. It's important that, you're appreciated for your efforts and what you do for other people. That's not to, like I said, that's not to say like whatever, like the minute that you call me and be like, I'm having a shit day. I'm at your apartment in 5 minutes with matcha and like dessert, because that's what you do. Like that's what friendship is. Right. But like, appreciation is also like knowing that, hey, if I need help, I know I can call you too.
Yeah.
And like, and I have this conversation with another friend of mine who's like super neurodivergent. And like, we both sit there and like commiserate on how hard it is to ask for help. I've had to have actual conversations with myself about this. And like, he also understands this, where he's just like, yeah, me too. Like I literally, because both of us found out we were neurodivergent later in life. And it's just kind of like understanding that normal and like trying to also understand that there's nothing actually wrong with you. You're just neurodivergent. And like that, it solved many years of questions for me when I found out.
Being diagnosed is like, it answers so many questions.
So many questions, but yeah, I think it's just, everybody needs that check once in a while of like, don't abandon yourself to, help other people, and that, or also don't abandon yourself to take abuse from someone else because you're losing yourself. Like they fit in different categories. It's the same thing. And I think as women, we do this a lot more often because it's like we put what our needs are aside for the friends, men, whatever, because, it's a self-esteem, it's a confidence issue, it's a lack of self-love. And so like we do these things and like they fit in the same vein. So like to pull all of this together, it all fits in the same vein because there's some form of self-abandonment happening in both sides of it. And so like, it's important for me that like other women understand that like, do the work to love yourself enough to say, that's too much for me right now. Or to be able to say no and say, hey, I can't do this right now. Or like, I'm sorry, or to be able to say, I need help. Like these are important conversations to have. So, I mean, yeah, it's been heavy on my mind lately.
Yeah. And I think also like not to judge others, especially if you're judging them based on experiences you yourself have never been through, because you never know what it's like. You never know how a person can end up in a certain circumstance. And I think that a very important part is that we as people look at situations and look at people's actions through our own lens of what that would mean and how that would be had we done it, right? But people are individuals, and your motivations to do something are different than someone else's. And it's very important to recognize that if you haven't been through something, if something hasn't happened to you, if your friend is doing something and they're telling you that this is why, but it feels to you like if you were to do it, it'd be because of XYZ, listen to people, give people grace,
Be supportive.
and be supportive of people. Yeah. Because again, everyone is different. And like, we look at life, we look at situations, we look at motivations through the prism of our own self and what motivates us and how we act.
Perception is purely personal every time.
Yeah.
Like I remember a friend saying to me one time, well, it's your fault that you're in this situation. You knew better. And I thought to myself, first, That is a horrible thing to say to somebody who's going through a difficult time. I wouldn't dare ever say that to a friend that's having those kinds of issues. I'd be like, hey, I don't like what's going on with you right now, but I support you. How can I be a better friend and support you through this issue? Not, it's your fault. You should have known better. And that was enough for me to be like,
Not
I don't
friend.
know. And I truly believed at that time that that was the first time I ever thought, it's not my fault. I am in a difficult situation and I need you to be my friend. I don't need you to judge me right now. I need you to help me out of this or like help me deal with it.
Well, this actually, you know, when you were telling me about the actual situation that was happening, what it reminded me of is when I was dating Irish and I was going through all of this stuff with him, and you clearly knew that I should have been out of there like 10 months ago. but you were doing your best.
I didn't like it, but I supported you through it.
Yeah, you were doing your best, and it was so evident that you were so done with him and so done with everything.
My face is a lot louder than the words I say. So like when I would listen to you talk about this, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill her and I'm gonna kill him after. It's like, and then I'm just like, how can I support you through this? And like, those are the words that come out of my mouth, and like the veins in my forehead are like out to here. And I was
But
like,
it's also like you trying to find positives in this situation.
every time I'd be like, well, you know, like it's okay because XYZ. And you'd be like, yeah. And like,
Exactly what I wanted to hear, but not necessarily the truth.
there's nothing like two irrational besties telling each other exactly
What the other needs to hear.
Yep. Just
Okay, I will say, like, don't feed people's... If you're in this situation, though, and your friend is actually in a situation that harms them to the point
Yes.
of, like, no return...
totally different.
Yeah,
Like
like,
abuse,
don't-
alcohol, drugs,
Don't feed their delusions.
red
Yeah.
lines. Like
Yeah.
those are red lines. Like if it's something that is not actually harming them, like
Emotionally, it might be, but as in, like, if they're strong enough to deal with it, like, and you know that they're gonna come to it themselves at some point.
yes.
Yeah.
And it's not strong. Like if it's not, because like the emotional abuse you endured was completely different. Had I been in your life during that situation, I would have already told you, get out ASAP. Like I would have said, I support you in your need to leave, and I will help you leave, but you need to leave this man.
Yeah.
Like there's a completely different thing than
Yeah.
like going through Delulu with your friends together. This is when it's a safety issue. One, I am the multi-purpose friend. I will help you escape. I will also bury a body, or we can go out for movies and popcorn later. But like, you know, that's just know, like if that situation ever came up, I would be like, okay, we're going to get you out of this and I'll support you through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think key point here is don't judge. Don't think that you know better in situations that you have never experienced. And
100%.
if your friend needs help and you know they're in a situation that they have been going through for way too long and they continue enduring it, just be supportive, but at the same time try to get them to a point of understanding that they need to leave. Don't like go hands-on like problem solver, because that will never work.
Yeah, I got to be gentle with that stuff. It's especially with like abusive relationships. You can't just be like, time to go. No, you literally have to be like, all right, well, is this healthy for you? Do you
It's
feel
like
good?
You can't help a person until they want to help themselves.
Yes. And that is true for a lot of psychological situations. That is true for a lot of abusive situations, drugs, alcohol, all of those things. Like they need to want to fix it before they actually will.
Yeah.
And they need to want to fix it for themselves.
Yeah.
That's the important thing.
Yeah. I think that's a good conclusive note, but we need some like upbeat something to say for this. You know, put pedophiles in prison.
In a wood chipper. Just don't even let them breathe air. Like that's like but then again, I will always choose violence. So like that's the answer in my opinion.
Speak up, put pedophiles in prison. Don't stand up for abusers and pedophiles, you know. Never.
Bruisers.
whether it's been 4 years, 6 years, 10 years, 20. Thing
Doesn't
is,
matter how long.
they've done it to the next person. They'll do it to the next person. And if they're not doing it right now, that's a glitch. The glitch is not what they did before. The glitch is now.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave you with that. And it's a weird time to say like, subscribe, and do all the things, but please do. And do subscribe to our membership, because that helps us greatly to keep producing this content that is very uncomfortable to talk about, but needs to be discussed.
Yes, if you need help, please seek help from your local services. If you are being abused, if you are in a situation that is unsafe, please make sure that you talk to somebody.
Yeah. Or write to us. And
Write to us, and yeah,
yeah, we're available.
we can help you.